Welcome to Sports News. A former Secretary General of the Nigeria Football Federation, Amun, says the Golden Eaglets must play more high-profile international friendly games. Amun said these crops of Golden Eaglets players must be fully engaged so that they can be strengthened.
I want to believe very strongly that the team that I've seen here today, like I told you, they needed to be exposed to a lot of friendly games, both within and outside. Because if we're going for Nations Cup that involves the North African teams, there's going to be a problem if we don't expose them more. So the matches shouldn't be only within Nigeria. Ireland, they went to Egypt to play a friendly game. They should play more with the North African teams now. Play them loose. You can't say they will understand your tactics. It's not possible. We went to Japan 3 weeks to the World Cup. I will play Japan twice and play other teams. So why didn't they can understand you? The difference is the player that you have as individual. So please, the training now should be in the North African countries. Okay.
Premier League champions Manchester City will take on FA Cup holders Arsenal in the Community Shield on Sunday, the traditional curtain raiser to the English season. But Manuel Pellegrini's side will be hoping to set the right tone for the defence of their league title. Arsenal are buoyed by the belief that they are now credible challengers for the Premier League title this season.
Well, of course, it's not a friendly match. It's an important game against an important team as Arsenal. Maybe both teams, Arsenal and our team, we don't arrive in our best moment for playing the Community Shield, because both teams has a lot of players that just arrived from the World Cup. But I think that it will be a very good game. It's important for both teams to win it, and we'll try to do it.
We are not maybe completely ready physically, but we should be already better than we were on Sunday. So it's a good test, good to play against Man City, because it's an interesting opponent. They won the league last year, and on that front, it's interesting and exciting for us to go back to Wembley, because we were a few times there in May and in April, so it's good to come back.
Bayern Munich fans had something to cheer about as their team were presented to a sold-out stadium ahead of the new start of the Bundesliga season. Some 65,000 fans gathered in the team's Allianz Arena in Munich to watch the players come out onto the pitch one by one and then take part in a training session for them to see their skills in action. Many of the players were part of Germany's World Cup winning team in Brazil, meaning it was an extra special moment for the Bavarian faithful. Or the only players not to take part in the training session were Thiago and Franck Ribéry, both of whom are out injured. Celtic manager Ronnie Deila has predicted a tough clash against Slovenian giants Maribor in the final qualifier of the UEFA Champions League. Celtic were handed a surprise lifeline on Friday when Legia Warsaw were thrown out of the competition by UEFA after fielding an ineligible player during the second leg of their qualifying tie. Defender Bartosz Berezinski came on as a substitute with 3 minutes remaining in Legia's 2-0 win, which sealed a 6-1 aggregate victory. UEFA investigated the matter and awarded Celtic the match with a 3-0 victory, making the aggregate score 4-4 and sending the Scottish champions through on the away goals rule after they lost the first leg 4-1.
Again, I think it's very hard to think of that today, because it's a tough decision, and I'm really feeling sorry for Legia. But again, we have to go into the games now and prepare for Maribor. You know, this is a UEFA thing, and that's a decision they made, and I'm a football manager, so I have to go with the feature that is, and now we are preparing for Maribor. Players, they want to play Champions League. It looks like now we are getting another chance, and I think that's no problem to get up to the game.
In boxing, Tyson Fury will face Derek Chisora in their rescheduled rematch on November the 22nd at London's Excel Arena. Two British heavyweight boxers were scheduled to fight in Manchester last month until Chisora pulled out owing to a fractured hand suffered in training. European champion Chisora lost on points to Fury when they last met in 2011. Fury boasts that Chisora will get a beating twice as bad than the one that he was going to get for pulling out in the first place. Eric Young claimed the biggest win of his career at the Tour of Utah, winning the field sprint to take the Stage 5 victory ahead of Jörg Kokjan and Kiel Reinen. Now, Tom Danielson finished safely in the field and will take a lead of 57 seconds over Chris Horner and Ben Hermans into Stage 6. Brent Bookwalter went up the road with Jens Voigt, Jeff Lauder, Alex Candelario, Yeli Sergei Tetkov, and Joey Roscoff and Oscar Clark. Now, the Tour Stage 6 is a 172.6 kilometer route from Salt Lake City to the Snowbird Ski and Summer Resort.
And I'm just going to let you listen to this. And then they were to get up, but watch it again in slow motion. Gavin Mannion, the first man to hit that marker on the side of the road, and then Gregory Brenes. Mannion would get back in the race. Brenes, unfortunately, the Costa Rican rider, had to go to the hospital.
There's Mannion, the Ironman, and he does get back up and completes this stage. Of 3 became 5. Jens Vogt, one of the men who closed. Eventually, it would become a 6-man breakaway as Robin Carter would catch up. The reason, he wanted King of the Mountain points as they crossed Bald Mountain, and he indeed would get them. The effort past Bald Mountain, the highest paved road in Utah.
So he padded his lead with 8 additional points in that.
Well, that's sports news. The news at 10 continues shortly.
About 575 physically challenged people in Kogi State have benefited from the free wheelchair distribution provided by the Associated Resources Health Center based in the United States of America. Presenting the wheelchairs to the beneficiaries in Lokoja, the state capital, the governor, Captain Idris Wada of Kogi State, noted that 2% of employment in Kogi State civil service will henceforth be allotted to disabled persons so as to improve their standard of living in the state.
Gathered here at the Lokoja Township Stadium are some physically challenged persons who have all come from 21 local government areas in the state. While some of them have to crawl, others are aided with the help of their relatives to move about. But this is about to change, as the Associate Resource Health Center based in the United States of America partners with the Kogi State government to provide them with 575 wheelchairs.
This is an opportunity for me to say thank you. In fact, as you know, I'm going around all the local governments now to say thank you to all our supporters and all members of Kogi State who have been helping us to succeed in our transformation agenda. And one of the very important group of people who have been transformed, our friends who are physically challenged. I'm very proud of all of you, and that's why I don't joke with anything that has to do with disabled people.
According to the Chief Executive Officer of the NGO, this gesture is in line with the transformation agenda of the current administration in the state.
I will say to the House of Assembly to embark on resolutions that empowers easy access to banking for individual with wheelchair, to promote access in public places that enables the physically challenged to have equal access.
Through the delivery of these wheelchairs, we not only provide the gift of mobility, dignity, independence, and hope for the recipients, but we also encourage us to continue in our mission and assist those in need in our state.
United States. Teresa, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving from one point to another has obviously been made faster for these citizens, and it is hoped that this gesture would help in improving their condition of life.
Do we have a lady?
To the foreign scene now, U.S. President Barack Obama has warned it's going to take some time to help Iraqis overcome the jihadist-led Sunni rebellion and stabilize their country. Mr. Obama stressed that progress will depend on Iraqis coming together and forming an inclusive government. The Islamic State, IS, formerly known as ISIS, has seized areas of northern and western Iraq in recent months. After the U.S. launched its second airstrike, President Obama said he will not allow Muslim jihadists to carve out a caliphate or Islamic State straddling Syria and Iraq. President Obama said there will be further airstrikes if necessary, but no U.S. military is on the ground. Ukrainian government forces appear poised to take a key town in the east, a move believed will divide the last two major pro-Russian rebel groups. A rebel leader said the army had taken Krasniluk, a town between the rebel strongholds of Luhansk and Donetsk. Meanwhile, another rebel leader later said he would accept a ceasefire to prevent the spread of a humanitarian catastrophe. Russia has renewed a call for an aid mission, a day after the U.S. warned against using a mission to send troops. Some 1,500 people are believed to have died since the conflict began in April, when rebels stormed cities in the east and took over government buildings. And finally tonight, in a time when most of us write with one hand, a Chinese girl in Hebei province is writing with both hands and feet simultaneously and effortlessly. Chen Xiyuan was born with this talent but said she had to work hard at it.
A year and a half ago, Chen Xiyuan was in the news for her ability to write two languages with both hands at the same time. As time went by, she realized she could also control her feet muscles. She quickly put them to use. With calligraphy pens in both hands and two tucked between her toes, she writes. Even more impressive is the fact that Chen can write vertically with one hand and horizontally with the other, in different directions. The 26-year-old former translator says writing with all four limbs require a lot of concentration and can be demanding sometimes.
When you write 4 different lines of poetry or 4 different things at the same time, it takes a lot more energy from your mind than if you write only one poem at a time. So my mind feels a bit tired.
We all have talents. All we need do is to explore and develop them. Maybe this answers some of life's questions on how some people can be indeed skilled in multitasks without much difficulty.
That's multifunctional. And the main news again, there was a large turnout of voters at the Osun State governorship election today. Although the conduct of the election was largely adjudged peaceful, the major contending parties in the poll, the APC and the PDP, disagreed over the role of security agents in the exercise. That's it on the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Olumide Macaulay on behalf of everybody here. Do have a good night.